Good evening. I am Papaemmanouil Dimitrios, PhD candidate in the University of Alicante, and today I will be presenting you a comparative study of the contemporary Spanish and Greek primary school principal selection system. The purpose of the research is to investigate the selection process of the primary educational directors of Spain and Greece. It will be done through the studies of the sources, legal text, and bibliography in an attempt to analyze the way of selecting principals in the public primary school in relation to the educational context of each country. The choice was not random, as both countries have recently passed new educational laws on education and are shuffling the deck by trying to develop their own education system and within it the way of selecting educational managers. Through investigation of legislation and laws, it seems that the two systems already have a different mentality. When it comes to any educational policy program or reform, it is believed that school administrations are critical. It is the director's job to help all the other instructors to better grasp the school's social settings. So it is the director who serves as a liaison between the club and the school, coordinating the efforts to achieve the school's objectives and represent the school in social situations. The principal plays a crucial role in helping the school community adjust to major changes. So, the principal selection is one of the most difficult human resource decisions in a position of responsibility, since it is difficult to define what constitutes an excellent principal, and it's even more difficult to select the candidate who will be able to handle this demanding position successfully. In the case of Greece, an education executive must meet certain criteria which are laid down in the latest article. These are teaching experience of at least 8 years and a certifications in the ICT or the information and communications technology. These are the two only criteria for Greek directors. After they meet the certain criteria, they have to be processed by a selection that are determined by the amount of units they gathered based on the evaluations. There are four evaluations criteria: A. Scientific pedagogical composition, teaching, consulting, guiding, and administrative support experience; C. Evaluations; and D. Personality and general composition of the candidate. In the case of Spain, there are provisions of the latest law that govern all aspects of appointment and removal of school principals, as well as the qualifications required for the applicants and the selection process itself. It is a merit-based selection procedure used to appoint public schools principals, and they are required to submit also a management initiative. For the participation in the tournament, the following are required: having been a civil servant instructor for at least 5 years, having at least 5 years of experience at one of the institutions they have selected. A management training program might be considered a necessity by educational institutions, and propose a management project that contains, among other things, goals, strategies, and metrics for evaluation. Considered for the position of the head teacher at a school, civil servant teachers must submit their candidacy to that school. All of the committee members vote to choose who will be the chosen candidate. In the end, the candidate with the highest final score will be chosen. The findings of all applicants, whether they are accepted or rejected, must be made public at the school organizations to which they are applying. The committee makes a recommendation to the educational authority, or, if there are no suitable applicants, it informs them of this. It is permitted by law to appoint a civil servant teacher as a school head if there is a scarcity of applicants and the committee has not picked any candidates for the positions. The evaluation criteria and processes are open to public, and they will be taken into account the findings of the third customized assessment and the final assessments of the conclusion of the primary school. Additionally, educational authorities might set a maximum number of times a principal can request a contract extensions. The autonomous communities follow the general guidelines of the Organic Law of 22 LOMLOE, but are allowed to make changes to accommodate their needs because the LOMLOE does not define a common framework. With this in regard, the regional regulations clarify issues that differentiate themselves in the selections procedure, in the determination of merits, and the evaluation of the project management in considerable detail. In relation to the phases of the selection procedure, in some communities the process starts with the evaluation of merits, in others to in the management project. Some phases may be eliminatory or require a certain score to proceed. The point distribution ratio between the evaluation of merits and the assessment of the management project marks differences between some communities, and moreover, in several communities the initial training is a requirement before applying for the position. Different assessment of merits of the same aspect is observed depending on the community. Also, different conditions present themselves during the evaluation of the management project, which include minimum criteria, mandatory indicators, or requirements. The key in Spain is the uniqueness of the obligation to present a management plan for the community it wishes to serve, and it is a consequence of the decentralized system. With the latest law, the decision of each local school board and management are further strengthened, giving priority to selection of a suitable candidate according to local needs. In the same pattern of coverage of the peculiarities of an autonomous community are also the method of selections, the selection process, and the process of evaluating the qualifications in the management plan as allowed by the law. Equally important, although optional in some communities, until at least the acceptance of the official position, is the mandatory training on administrative issues and successful monitoring of it. On the contrary, in the Greek education system there is no training on management issues and issues of organization and administration of an education team before taking up duties, nor it is a condition during the announcement of the positions. The central administration has a fixed system of selection and ranking of candidates through training, staff qualifications, assessments, and interviews. Candidates can only state the area in which they are permanently appointed, and no management plan is provided by the law, since they themselves operate under the strict framework of the law, which makes it very difficult to develop initiatives operating more in an executive and procedural manner. The different nature of the educational system can also be seen in the way of choosing the final places that the candidates will take. After the creation of the ranking tables, they choose the school units they wanted priority and end up in one of the choices. In other words, their choice is not often theirs, but random based on the aggregated score they have collected. The method of the avalanche is applied. In conclusion, as a consequence of the impact of European educational discourse, there are two nations with quite diverse education management systems that, despite their disparities, tend to maintain peace in terms of their emphasis on modernization and efficiency in the previous decade. There is a rising demand in education administrators to be professionalized, the autonomy of school units is being strengthened, and initiatives are being taken to open up opportunities for more people. Despite the fact that each nation has a distinct style of administration, the common aim is to improve the efficiency of the education system and provide a quality education. Thank you all for your attention.